Look at this. Look
No,
at it this way. I'll come in there. You conclude. You conclude on that point. Then Barrister Mbeseha will speak. Let me just add up to something. Look at Africa as we speak right now. Let's go down history a little bit. Sankara
yeah.
moved of the way. Patrice Lumumba was a youthful leader. Like you're seeing, I'm just trying to say, even Idi Amin, that they called a tyrant leader. As we speak right now, in the Cameroons, we just saw the way the youthful movement has been dismantled, even though they were hoping that Chiruma was going to help them get that transition. Now in Gabon, you're talking about a man in Gabon who in front of leaders of the country. He claims now to be a civilian, though he was a military man that took over, and he was the other day and telling them that means he's not even using legal processes to talk. That there was no decorum in his speech. Kemi Ashu shared that video. I had watched it before, but when I see it on Kemi Ashu's wall, I am more committed to like okay because sometimes I don't want to listen, but I listen to it. I'm like, how do you talk like that? Even if you felt that the salaries of these people were much. So you see the tyranny and the dictatorship. There is a hegemony that is currently being built, I suspect, with the orchestration of France in Gabon. And I'm just thinking, how do some of these youths that are not from the Sahel that are used to arms, how do they really help, especially in Central Africa? Because that does happen in time to really topple these tyrants and dictators. Chad it has not worked in Chad. One would have thought that it would work in Chad. It didn't work in Chad. Chadians have tried a couple of times. It has not worked. So it is something that I'd like for us to have vision. Like how do African youths, especially in some of these countries, in Nigeria, for instance, how do they get themselves out of this quagmire? They vote elections, the old men will steal it. France and the leaders put them. It is complex, Barrister Fu, please. Go ahead. I just wanted to add up to what you're saying. It's
Paddy,
really complex.
let me start by saying this. How did Burkina Faso do it? How did Mali do it? How did Niger do it? The young people in Gabon are rising up. Whether they will succeed or fail, it's a good sign, and every African should encourage it. Chad is trying. The young man in Chad who was imposed by the French is beginning to think otherwise. The question is, can Chad succeed? It is still a question to be answered. But let's not dwell on the shackles of colonialism and destroy what is happening on the continent led by the youths. The young people these days are getting more look at what Gabon has just done. Ban social media because of young people in Gabon. Because they have seen that the young people are going to topple them. That the young people are talking. They have told the French that stop imposing leaders on us. They have told the French that withdraw your troops. They have told the French that we want the colonial agreements rescinded. Allow us to do our thing and sell our goods and our resources at market price. That's what the youths are saying. They may not succeed, but it's a good sign. The revolution is on. Let us, the old people, not dampen it by saying Africa is going nowhere. That is a negative thing to say to the African youth. That's just what I'm trying to say, Paddy. The movement is on. The movement is on, and it's led by the people of Sahel. That's what I was trying to let us know. We have a duty.
I want you to come in here. Yeah, I want by Mbeseha, I'd like you to come in here now. I think for everyone who is watching us, this is a time for us to stand for the people of Gabon. because what is happening in Gabon happened to Southern Cameroons. Every time you challenge the French hegemony in Africa, they use their leaders or their governors that they call president there, like Bia or like the guy in Gabon right now, to go rogue. Because in the 21st century, at the time when the world is embracing and escalating to extraordinary heights when it comes to the media, it is inconceivable to find a president have the audacity to shut internet from a youthful generation. There is no justice. So I'm calling on everybody. It's the time for youthful bloggers. It's a time for you to stand for Gabon
Correct.
before, because the intention of is to seal that country and shoot and kill the youths and impose on them to follow a hegemony. Barrister Mbeseha, please. And I really want you,
Well,
Barrister Mbeseha, to speak because you have really worked, Barrister Mbeseha, you have worked in the field in Africa. If there's one person on this platform, I think the both of you have that competence, but you already worked in a war zone and you know the way France operates in Africa. I really, really would like to hear you talk on this issue. It's very important. Yeah, go ahead,
see,
Barrister Mbeseha.
again, I've said, you see, being a young person is not different from anywhere else in the world. You talked of Idi Amin, Mobutu. When they came to power, they were young. They were not as old as Paul Biya. They were young people, but they were still manipulated.
Yeah,
Go back to Gabon.
yeah.
If I saw the video and the other information correctly, Omar Bongo, who died, the guy who was overthrown, who made two sentences, make a noise, make a noise.
Ali Bongo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where is he today? He's in London. He lives in London. I saw a video of him there in London because that's where he finds shelter with his money. And so the youths in Gabon, the youths in Cameroon, saying what they say is perfectly right. But would that bring down the system? I doubt it. I doubt it. Because the system, the problem with Africa is the institutions. And you have mentioned, I said it here, when we went to Cote d'Ivoire, they complained of the ordinary guy in the street where we went to, what the civil society there. They told us that Cote d'Ivoire has a problem because of the 1959 agreements of 60 that was signed with France. And France dominates Cote d'Ivoire more than in Cameroon even. And then the question I asked personally was, since 1959 to 60 and independence, why have they not changed these agreements? The agreement did not say that it should never be changed. The Ivorians, who were very young at the time, telling me this story, could not change it because of the institutions. After they fought what they fought the civil war. And what did they do? They brought Ouattara to power. What has happened to the youth that led that revolution? The first Nouvelle, Guillaume Soro, who were very young. Where are they today? They have been simply sidelined institutionally. The same thing happens in Cameroon. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are completely different because those guys are young, but they are not dependent on institutions. They are military guys. You ask yourself, before Abraham Traore, who is just colonel, what is he, or a captain, whatever it is, were there no generals in the Burkina army? There were generals there. Were there no generals in the Niger army or Mali? They were. Where are those generals? They have been neutralized by the youth, by those young gentlemen. Look at what happened in Cameroon. We just had elections in Cameroon. The bulk of the people who voted Issa Chiroma, that we all believe won, were the youth, the younger people who voted for him. Why did they vote for him, to the best of my knowledge? Because he said, I will go in and do change. I will do institutional changes, reforms that will possibly change all those institutions. They stole the elections from him. What did the other class of politicians, who are basically old people? There's nobody in the older class, from Issa Chiroma, from Osi to Ndamjoya to Buba Bello. There's no one who is less than 65, 70 years old. Why did they not stand up to support Chiroma? They did not want institutional changes. They wanted no reforms. They wanted to take their turn if they want and remain there 7 years exploit the people the way they wanted. And by the time they're 7 years and if they didn't die, they'll probably hand it over to their wives, just like Paul Biya is doing. So I'm not being so negative. I'm simply saying that these institutional things that are there, the African need a change. But the African change will not come the way they are doing it. It will come from the African not just talking, but going down the streets and taking, it's a risk. Someone will die. But until you're prepared to change, to challenge the status quo. Why are the youth in Cameroon, for example, not rising against Paul Biya, who everybody, most people know that he's dead politically. But people are being manipulated. The youths everywhere in Garoua, in Betua, wherever in Cameroon, who are in the majority want change, they are being manipulated. By who? By something in Cameroon, you find something they call an Assemblée Nationale. That has never elected voted any law of its own. To the best of my knowledge, all the laws in Cameroon that have been voted from 1960 have come from the presidency. It is written in their constitution. Any law that does not come from the presidency will not be debated. It is not even there.
Yeah.
After that, right there, the very law comes from the presidency. It is written down somewhere in that very law. They will say the president will make a decree to complement this. There's no
Yeah.
rule who consults the president to make a decree. It can come from his wife. It can come from his friend. It can come to him in a dream. He makes the decree to do what he wants. And basically, that is what is going on. Why is Cameroon in their constitution declare your assets? Why did not declare it? As we speak, there's corruption going on. Everybody knows that. But why? Because they are waiting for a
Yeah.
president to take a decree of implementation.
To make a decree.
Who tells you that Mr. Paul Biya will take a decree to implement his wife, to implicate his wife, or to
You see, but you see, by
implicate me if I were his
Mbeseha,
nominee?
by Mbeseha,
So that's
Can I?
where I am. So
Mbeseha,
let me learn. Let me learn. I'm simply saying that Africans should learn to do more than talking. Take the action. If all the opposition people in Cameroon had supported Chiroma, for example, Paul Biya will be gone. He'll be gone. But it's sad in there. Everybody looking to go back to the new government. The whole talk now is formation of a new government to see who will get there.
the same people that were fighting for him before it was long, they turned against him and started criticizing him that he didn't have a plan. Instead of them taking action, they were criticizing the man who had sacrificed his life for them. And that's the problem. And I'm both correct in what you're saying. From one hand, Barrister Fru is saying we need to inspire these youths because they are already doing some things. We need to really inspire them, which I agree. On the other hand, Alicia is saying that, hey, you need to do more than talking. Take action like the youth in Gabon now. They're about to take action like the Southern Cameroonians did in 2016 and were cut off internet. But they need to do more than talking. They need to fight. These people, if we did not mount pressure, Biya will keep Ambazonia shut down. But pressure. So we are thinking that started, you don't need to stop.